Oh, hello. I didn't see you there. Welcome. I am your host, Bad Guy, and thanks once again for joining me for another episode of Read With Me. And today's reading is I'm a proud slut, and I want you to be one too. From Metro's very own sex blogger, Almara Abgarian. And if you've forgotten who Almara was, here's a quick flashback, people. Fields. You see, he wasn't the first of them I've shagged, so she's just going around shagging neighbors. She's a neighbor shagger. She is a serial neighbor shagger. Amara, I think we shall make you famous, my lady. People, we will respect Almara's name and respect the name shall have. Let's begin the reading. Do you not worry what people will say about you? As someone who isn't afraid to talk openly about enjoying casual sex, Elmara, we all know you're a serial neighbor shagger. In fact, as recently as last month, sometimes the phrase is accompanied by a snarky tone, other times a look of genuine concern. However, the words are delivered. It's easy to read between the lines and figure out the real question, which is also occasionally asked outright. Do you not worry that people will think you're a slut? If you asked me this 10 years ago, I have probably said yes. But today, I'm a proud slut, and I want you to be too. Oh my god, people, I think our Amara is one of those women have to band over slut shaming kind of people. She's one of them people. Women. I don't think it's cute when a woman refers to herself as a slut, a bitch, or a whore as a term of endearment. No. What is wrong with using terms that are polite and respectful towards each other, women? But let's continue with the reading, people. Amara is spilling so much tea about her sex life. It is absolutely gripping. I am intoxicated by her words. When I was young, I noticed that the world thinks a woman needs to act a certain way to be seen as worthy of love or attention. I too believed this lie for years, thought my sexual habits determined my value. Women have been judged for their sexual choices since the dawn of time, ever since allegedly Eve gave into desire and bit into the apple. Amara, behave. Behave, Amara. How dare you bring the story of creation into this to justify why you wanna be for the streets, Amara? Come on now. We've come a long way since then, but there's still a lot of work to be done, and the figures support this. Okay, Mara. A 2021 study on slut shaming found that 14% of its participants aged 12 to 18 had suffered from slut shaming at least once. Other research puts this figure much high as 50% of girls experiencing slut shaming versus 20% of boys being shamed for their sexual behavior. Oh, Mara, are you fucking serious? Where did you pull this data from? How do we know that this data isn't some bullshit? Studied by whom, Amara? And research done where? When I read an article and it's stating figures, please provide the reference? How do we know that the 40% of those participants aged between 12 and 18 weren't already for the streets? Continuing on. While I don't remember the exact first time someone called me a slut, I have plenty of painful memories from when I was a teenager to adulthood. The worst instances are actually where someone implied I should know better or tried to shame me into submission rather than outright saying the word. For instance, the time I was dating a man who suggested that because I had a high number of sexual partners, I would struggle to find a husband, which at the time was gut-wrenching to hear. Amara, did you shag this man? Just joking. Or when an ex told me I had no business discussing past sexual experiences in social settings because it wasn't ladylike. Friends have judged me too, such as the former pal who assumed I would shag anything that moves just because I liked casual sex. People, Amara, a freaky girl. She a freaky girl, and them the girl that me like. Anyway, or the one who introduced me as her horny friend with the sex stories, as if that is all I am. Well, Amara, come on now. Mara, you're being serious now, come on. As a result, I slut-shamed myself. Outwardly, I confronted my bullies and told them where to stick their outdated opinion, but in my head, I was worried that they were right. Worried I died sad, unloved, and alone just because I dared to like sex. It's a harrowing feeling, and I imagine many women feel the same or worse, that they deny themselves pleasure because it's better than suffering the consequences of openly enjoying their body. One friend tells me her boyfriend would even call her a slut, but he considered this cute banter when really it wasn't. The shift in my own thinking happened in my late 20s, but it had to do with age and experience and realizing I no longer cared what others said. I was fed up with people expecting me to apologize for my sex life, while men had the freedom to do whatever the hell they wanted. People, we're gonna skip ahead. Every day I see more confident, slutty women appearing on TV and the word being used on social media in a positive context. Or, as in case of the new version of Mean Girls being removed altogether, with Tina Fey rephrasing the phrase fugly slut to fugly cow. It's understandable that not everyone is on board with describing themselves as sluts or using the word at all. Some women worry that even if we reclaim the word, men will still use it against us, and it's a valid concern. Oh, Mara, are you talking some? Oh, Mara, I can only speak to myself. Being called a slut used to make me feel ashamed, but now that I have embraced the phrase, I feel powerful. To me, a slut is someone who owns their sex life and isn't afraid to talk about it. I think that's a beautiful thing. Reclaiming the phrase has also helped me deal with people who use it against me, such as the aforementioned incident last month when a stranger asked me if I was worried about my experiences coming back to haunt me. I calmly explained that my sex life does not define me, and it's only by allowing women to take up space in the bedroom without judgment that we will truly become equals. Whether you use the word or not, and I completely understand if you don't, what I want you to take away from this is that you have the right to enjoy sex. You don't need to explain yourself to anyone. We live in the upside down world. No stranger things, where right is wrong, wrong is right, good is bad, and bad is good. People, we are living in a world where little girls aspire to be a sexy red. They wanna get shafted up the brown hole. According to what Amara's saying, women should embrace being a slut. People, if we live in a world where being a proud slut is considered a term of endearment and not degrading or dehumanizing, we are fucking doomed.